when it comes to procurement of materials that we use in health and safety. For example, wash hand basins, PPEs, personal protective devices. If money is not made available and has been stolen or has been, diverted in a way, then definitely health and safety will not be, achieved.
Hello viewers, and welcome to another exciting edition of your program, Transparency Files. I am your host, Hawasani Garba. Today, we celebrate Workers' Day, and it is a special day to honor the strength, sacrifice, and contribution of Nigerian workers. This year's theme, ensuring safety and health at work in a changing climate, speaks to the urgent need to protect workers in a rapidly changing world. But beyond climate change, there is a silent and dangerous force that continues to threaten workers' safety and well-being: corruption. And that is our focus on today's edition of the program. Also, on this edition, we shall be bringing you updates on the work of the Commission, both at the headquarters and state offices, an engaging youth segment, and more. Let us first join Ruth Awodi as she brings us an update on activities around the Commission.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awodi. ICPC has arraigned the former Director of Finance and Supply at the Agricultural and Rural Management Training Institute, ARMTI, Ilorin, Kwara State, Ibitoye Olajide Moses, before the Kwara State High Court over an alleged multi-million naira contract fraud and abuse of office. ICPC's investigations reveal that the defendant allegedly used his position to influence the award of several contracts worth tens of millions of naira to companies in which he had direct and indirect interests. Notably, the defendant is accused of benefiting from a 48.52 million naira contract for entrepreneurship training on oil palm production for women in Akwa Ibom State, awarded to Magic Touch Business Solutions Limited, a company in which he is allegedly a director and shareholder. Further allegations indicate that he derived financial benefits from a 29.95 million naira contract for dry season farming training, as well as a 40 million naira contract for youth and women empowerment in agriculture value chains, both similarly awarded to the same company. In another instance, the defendant allegedly obtained an indirect benefit of 550,000 naira from a 28.85 million naira contract awarded to Synergy Impact Consulting Limited. The charges also detailed contracts valued at 15.8 million naira, 14.96 million naira, 10 million naira, and 19.83 million naira, amongst others, in which the defendant allegedly had interest and therefore exerted influence in the procurement process to favor affiliated companies. The defendant was brought before Honorable Justice H.A. Saliman on a 24-count charge bordering on conferring unfair advantage, acquisition of private interest in public contracts, misappropriation of funds, and making false statements to investigators. At the arraignment, the defendant pleaded not guilty to all charges preferred against him. Following the plea, Defense Counsel Oluwaseye Adeboye applied for his bail, which was not opposed by the prosecution counsel, David Nwanze. The court subsequently granted bail to the defendant in the sum of 5 million naira, with two sureties resident within the court's jurisdiction, one of whom must possess landed property. The matter was thereafter adjourned for the commencement of trial. In another development, ICPC and the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, NIQS, have taken steps to formalize over a decade of strategic collaboration aimed at strengthening transparency and accountability in Nigeria's public infrastructure sector. This followed a courtesy visit by the NIQS president, Dr. Aminu M. Bashir, FNIQS, who led members of the Institute's National Executive Council to the Commission's headquarters in Abuja recently. Central to the engagement was a shared commitment to institutionalizing the partnership through a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) that would provide a structured legal and operational framework for joint anti-corruption interventions. Receiving the delegation, ICPC Chairman Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, SAN, described the proposed MOU as a natural progression of an already impactful relationship, particularly under the Constituency and Executive Projects Tracking Initiative, CEPTI.
Both ICPC and NIQS share a common commitment to integrity, ethics, and public protection. While ICPC pursues this through prevention, enforcing law, and educating the public, the NIQS pursues it through regulating professional conduct, enforcing ethical standards, and safeguarding clients in construction industry. Both ICPC and NIQS exist to ensure that public resources are managed honestly, that those entrusted with responsibility to act with integrity, and that the Nigerian public is protected from abuse, whether in public institutions or in a built environment. It is this shared soul that makes our partnership not merely logical, but something we are genuinely proud to nurture. You have brought professional rigor, personal commitment, and true public spirit to everything we have done together. Our achievements in project tracking and value for money assurance bear your fingerprints, and Nigeria is better for it. As we formalize and deepen this relationship, I'm confident that the best of what ICPC and NIQS can accomplish together still lies ahead.
In his remarks, Dr. Bashir traced the partnership's evolution since 2015, highlighting key milestones, including joint professional engagements and the nationwide deployment of NIQS experts under CEPTI.
Our members have worked alongside ICPC teams across the 36 states of Nigeria in the 6 geopolitical zones, providing technical expertise in cost verification, project valuation, forensic quantity surveying, and physical site monitoring. The outcomes have been significant nationally. They have provided cost savings, project delivery, and public confidence in the work of the Anti-Corruption Agency. The most recent phase, the Spatial Tracking Exercise, launched in November 2025 and covering 760 federal road projects with a combined value exceeding 36 trillion naira, is the most ambitious expression of this partnership to date. NIQS members are deployed alongside ICPC investigators and Ministry of Works engineers across all the 36 states and the federal capital. We are indeed proud to be part of this, and we assure you of our continued commitment to providing excellent services.
Both institutions expressed optimism that the proposed MOU would consolidate existing gains and usher in a more structured, sustainable phase of collaboration in advancing integrity in public sector project delivery. That will be all on this segment. Transparency Files continues with Hawa.
Corruption not in my country.
Okay, I'll have that credited to account shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, can you smoothen this edge? Something is not properly done.
Okay, no problem. We'll go do that. Okay, sir. Okay.
Money don't come now. Make we go buy cement.
No, continue.
I don't understand. We need more cement now.
Carry sand, put plenty sand, mix and put the cement. I don't finish.
Make barara. Let's do this thing right. Wait
did they give? What is Megba? See, listen. The money credited to my account is not for cement, oh. It's my own. Even you have a share in it.
Me, I don't take such share.
Okay.
I know they take.
Okay,
Oga?
don't take.
All this building collapse where they happen here and there. Now this kind of attitude, now in the cause when I am called to do mago, I say no to it. It is corruption. Not in my country.
Stop corruption now. Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. While climate change brings visible challenges like heat, floods, and environmental hazards, Corruption quietly worsens these conditions. Corruption shows up when funds meant for safety equipment are diverted. Substandard materials are used in workplaces. Regulations are ignored or compromised. Workers' welfare is sacrificed for personal gain, and so on. The result: unsafe environments, avoidable accidents, an unmotivated workforce, and lives put at risk. To join this discourse, we have Dr. Ebenezer Ozomata, ICPC's Deputy Director. Stay tuned.
Health and safety has to do with the physical, mental, and social well-being of workers. All right, and there are so many factors in the environment that can affect this health and safety performance. It could be physical factors, biological factors. Now, the physical factors, we look at the heat waves, temperature, radiations, and all those hazards. Now, biological hazards like COVID-19, when we had COVID-19 virus infection then, or any of these biological agents, viruses, bacteria in the workplace. And it can also be chemicals. Chemicals include dust, among others. Now, but the most prominent is psychological hazards, which include stress in the workplace. And I think that's an area that we have to look into. So now, but the climate change affects workplace, especially those in construction companies, whereby the heat waves, the ice, there are very cold regions. That can really affect the performance of workers in the workplace. Now, corruption has to do with, I look at it from two paradigms. The first, is monetary. When someone has to do, look for money, collect bribe, corruption, fraud, among others. But there is this non-monetary aspect of corruption: nepotism, favoritism, sex for favors, and all that. Now, how does it affect health and safety in an environment? Let's take management as an example. Now, if you have a board and management that is corrupt in an organization, it will definitely affect the procedures in making policies that affect health and safety. Now, the commitment of the organization will also be biased. If a certain amount, maybe like 5 million, is meant to be committed to health and safety, they could reduce it to 2 because the resources are limited. Now, secondly, if you look at the non-monetary aspect of corruption, for instance, favoritism and nepotism, a competent personnel that will increase or improve the health and safety performance of an organization will not be employed because of nepotism. I want my brother to be there, my sister, my relative. Such culture will definitely have adverse effect on health and safety performance of an organization. When it comes to procurement of materials that we use in health and safety, for example, wash hand basins, PPEs, personal protective devices. If money is not made available and has been stolen or has been diverted in a way, then definitely health and safety will not be, achieved. What you do not prevent eventually will lead, to negative effect on organization performance, health indicators, safety indicators. You begin to have accident cases. You begin to record deaths and increase in the number of, sick and absenteeism. People will not be able to come to work because, they are not healthy. So health and safety performance, we definitely, we boost the performance of the organization economically, productively, and otherwise. When you talk about a healthy workplace, we're looking at a workplace where, anything that can cause harm, which we call hazard, is controlled to the barest minimum. You cannot eliminate 100%. There's usually a level of hazard in a workplace. All right, but what we do hazard, risk control, we do permits. There are so many things we do to bring it to the lowest level. But when you have a corrupt system, you won't employ people that are competent. The management is not committed financially and in drawing policies and making decisions that will positively have, improve the health and safety performance of organization. You're not procuring materials that are important. You're not making money available. The methods, the standards are supposed to be. You're not sending people for training. And because there's need for you to train and retrain staff as regards things, that has bearing on health and safety. Okay? Then at the same time, you are not. There's no culture, of positivism, and there's no feedback from reviews. For example, if there's an assessment that staffs are getting sick, they are getting absent from work, they don't come to work anymore, they are always reporting ill. Some people, there's another thing we call presentism. People are present, but they're not effective in the workplace. Definitely, it should stimulate, a response from the management.
It's easy to do good when no one is watching, when the crowd claps, when the teacher smiles, when the camera is rolling, when there's a reward waiting at the end. That's easy. Anyone can shine when the spotlight is on. But what about when it's dark? When there's no one to see, no one to applaud, no one know what you chose? That's when it really counts. That's when who you are shows up. It's the moment you found a lost wallet and your first thought is to keep it. But then something inside whispers, no. A moment you could lie, a small lie, and no one would ever find out. But you choose the truth anyway, because integrity doesn't need an audience. It's built in the quiet choices, in the unseen moment. It's who you are when the lights are off. And it's just you and your conscience. People may never know what you did. They may never thank you, but you will know. And that knowing, that peace, that's worth more than any applause. Doing the right thing when no one is watching. That's not about being perfect. It's about being real, being true to yourself. Because someday, the lights will come back on. And that person you've been in the dark, that's the person the world will see.
To give us updates on happenings in our state offices, Khadijat Ibrahim is our guide.
From Sokoto State comes a report that the ICPC has inaugurated Student Anti-Corruption Vanguard of Abdullahi Fodio University of Science and Technology, Alero, as part of sustained efforts to promote integrity and accountability among Nigerian youths. The resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Mr. Shintema Binga, represented by Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim Aliyu, urged the students to uphold good moral conduct and actively promote transparency and accountability among their peers. Coming from Enugu State, ICPC has inaugurated and reconstituted Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. The resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Mr. Kabir Elelu, characterized ACTU as an internal framework designed to enhance transparency and curb corruption within public institutions. The Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Otuaya, thanked the Commission for living up to its mandates of eradicating corruption in the country and urged the new ACTU members to always live above board in the discharge of their duties. And from Osun State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, led by its resident electoral commissioner, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, paid a courtesy visit to the ICPC Osun State office to strengthen the existing synergy between both agencies and explore ways to further enhance collaboration ahead of the forthcoming electoral activities in the state. The resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Prince Olatunji Yusuf, expressed appreciation for the visit and commended INEC for its proactive efforts in promoting electoral integrity. He reaffirmed the Commission's readiness to collaborate with INEC in line with the ICPC's mandate to prevent and combat corruption in all its forms.
I am a Nigerian, a highly cultured race. My culture abhors corruption, and with my integrity, a new Nigeria is possible. I say no to corruption today to build a future for my children. Join me and imbibe the culture of integrity to build a Nigeria of our dreams.
Thank you for staying tuned to Transparency Files and welcome to our youth segment. The future of Nigeria's workforce lies in the hands of young people. Their awareness, values, and choices will shape the workplaces of tomorrow. Let us hear directly from our youths as they share their thoughts on safety, climate change, and corruption in the workplace.
When funds intended for public infrastructure are diverted, you get a country full of potholes and bad roads, where young people continue to lose life and limb, and lives are cut short, talents are wasted.
In a place where corruption thrives, people are denied opportunities even though they merit it, and this reduces the quality of work output, which in turn reduces how far we can go as a nation.
Corruption and poor leadership has contributed to limiting job access through nepotism. So this can happen when corrupt officials prioritize favoritism over merit. And we can see this when young qualified individuals lose their jobs to underqualified individuals, and this has created and encouraged an environment of brain drain, inequality, and young people prioritizing corruption or corrupt practices to be able to survive.
It increases the rate of unemployment in Nigeria. We have graduates right now who are roaming about doing nothing, just sitting at home, whiling away time. And this is because jobs are not being made available for them. And even if jobs are available for them, they are given to people who are quote unquote have connections, right? If you know what I mean. So in other words, I feel like that's such a bad thing because we see graduates who have graduated first class, second class, yet spend 3 to 4 years sitting at home doing nothing.
That is all time will permit us to take today. However, one thing is clear. For every worker to be safe, for every effort to count, and for every future to be secure, we must choose integrity. Together, let us build workplaces where safety is guaranteed and corruption has no place. To know more about ICPC and the work we are doing, please visit our website www.icpc.gov.ng and follow us on our social media with the handle at ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. I am Hawasani Garba saying bye for now.